Hi everybody, this is Sarah Twilight, and I would like to welcome you today to this new show. You see, when I'm posting this video, it will be February, and February is the month of love, where all you cute couples get to do cute couple things, and all us wingmen get to have a lot of fun. But why am I talking about love? Well, because this show is called Bookish Romantic. And in this show, I will be taking a romantic trope or like a couple from like a book or something, and I'll be talking about it and giving like my opinions and ideas about it, some writing advice. You see, I am like a hopeless romantic. And I mean hopeless romantic. I have a whole Pinterest board full of hopeless romantic stuff. Nothing inappropriate though. And I love clean romance. I love romance, man. And I love talking about romance, and I love giving romance writing advice. And I'd say that I'm fairly decent at it since my friends like to go to me for my opinion and advice on writing romance. So I decided to give my unwanted opinion to the internet through this show. So let's get started. Today's topic is going to be a very popular trope nowadays, in YA especially. Enemies to lovers. Let's get into it. Roll that intro. You guys can make the intro whatever you want. I haven't made an intro yet, so this is going to be the intro. So enemies to lovers has become really popular, especially in YA. And I was a little confused. I'm like, okay, I like this, but why do so many people like this? And my friend put it into words that were really quite poetic. And you know who you are out there if you ever see this video. She said, I'm paraphrasing by the way, that the reason I like enemies to lovers is because these two people, they see the worst in each other and still they manage to love each other. And it reminds me of how Christ loved us even though we are sinners. And I thought, wow, amazing. That should be on like a canvas thing in your room for like decoration and stuff. Just like, somebody get onto that, and if you do, send me the link. I probably won't buy it because I don't spend my money on that kind of stuff, but it'd be cool to know that that's out there. Anyway, so enemies to lovers. There are so many ways to do this that I don't like. For instance, when the characters are so horrible to each other at the beginning when they're enemies that I'm like, how are you going to come back from that? Like, seriously. We're going to start on the enemy side of the spectrum, and we're going to work our way slowly to the lover's side of the spectrum. So there are times when I'm reading about the stuff that these characters have done to each other that I'm like, no. Okay, I'm in the middle of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and this might be like a spoiler, but if Alina gets together who I think she's going to get together with, I'm going to be a little mad, though I am curious to see how she ends up with this person. Because, like, this is the same guy who said he was going to peel a piece of her skin off anytime this one other dude didn't do what he said. Like, seriously. And then there's this other dude who's right there, who's amazing, and you've realized that, but maybe you're not going to realize that anymore. I don't know what happens, though. I'm in the middle of Siege and Storm, and I don't know. Honestly, man. I don't know. Did I just spoil the whole thing for you? Anyway, so, and also it's kind of weird sometimes, like, no. You can get back from some of that thing. Stop. With the enemies, people overdo the enemy part a lot of the times. Like, I mean, yeah, they are enemies, but seriously, how can you, I can't even put it into words. You made a writer speechless. That happens a lot, believe it or not. But another thing I don't like about enemies to lovers is when it is way too fast. Like, these characters are supposed to despise each other. And then, not 100 pages in, they're kissing? Like, I was expecting more, and I want my money back, but not really because I'm invested now. So, that just like, that really frosts me. Okay, slow burn, only way to do it correctly. Like, I think I've seen a few authors do it like more fast, but those are usually for like totally different situations, and there is exceptions to this rule. But slow burn. Take Pride and Prejudice, for example. Lizzie and Mr. Darcy, it takes them like a whole year to overcome their prejudices over each other and see like the deeper versions, to come to grips. And it doesn't just happen with them staying the same. They change. They go through character development, and that helps them like meet in the middle and fall in love. Like a bunch of stuff happens, and the book is focused on this enemies to lovers thing, but it's just like it takes a long time, and that's one reason I like the 2005 movie better than the book. I'm not ashamed. So anytime you read the book, just think about that, because it took them a long time, and they are legendary. They're like the OTP of so many people. Moving on. Also, like, enemies to lovers, like, it's interesting to watch when these two, like, enemies are, like, flirting, especially in, like, these fantasy movies. Actually, no, this isn't just fantasy. This happens, like, in every, like, setting where they're, like, supposed to hate each other, but there's all this, like, tension and, like, passion, and they begin doing things to each other that's kind of weird. They're supposed to hate each other. And, like, especially with the male character, where, like, there's the, like, female who just really dislikes this dude. He comes over and he's all suave, and he's like leaning over and whispering in her ear things and making her heart pound and her face flush. Don't. You know what? Next time that happens, I want her to slap the freaking heck out of that man and like run and see how that happens. That actually would make it hilarious, because I love it when the enemies to lovers trope is like this one character, like either the girl or the dude, like is used to like charming their way out of situations, and then they meet this one person who's over here like, why do people like you? Oh my gosh. This was done very well in Wicked Fox and Vicious Spirits. Like the ship Juno and Soman, perfect. And that is a very good example of enemies to lovers. You see, these two characters come off disliking each other at first and being like, oh, this is kind of weird. But in the end, they learn stuff about each other and they go through character development. They end up falling in love. Even though, like, in Vicious Spirits, it was kind of weird because they realized they liked each other, but they didn't like that they liked each other. And so they, like, kissed really early on, but then, like, the whole, like, rest of the book, like, they had to kind of, like, harden their relationship and, like, dig deeper before they could officially be called, like, a couple. That was interesting, but kind of done well. Congrats to you, Kat Chow. And I'm very excited for your next book, which involves K-pop. So we have those enemies where they dislike each other. It could be they grew up in like warring kingdoms and they're just hating each other. It's what's supposed to do. It's a patriotic thing to do. And then when they meet each other, they realize how wrong they were, and that you don't judge a person by their country. And then they fall in love. Or it could be like they have to kill each other, or one has to kill one of them. They run into each other, and then they like fall in love. Apparently this happens in We Hunt the Flame. I really want to read that. Like, the hardcovers look beautiful. Like, I want to buy them. I want to set them on my shelf. But that won't happen for a while. And I have enough books I need to read. I am going to read this book soon. Isn't it freaking gorgeous? Like, it's a hardback too, so it wasn't cheap. But we're getting sidetracked here. But I don't regret it because it's a beautiful book. And if I can make covers like that book one day. Anyway, so enemies is... How do these characters become enemies? That's something you should keep in mind when you're writing it. Maybe they just... There's a bad vibe when they meet each other and they just don't like each other. Or like their perceptions of each other are bad. And or maybe these characters, they knew each other, maybe they were even friends, and then something happened, one of them did something, or both of them did something, and they end up hating each other. In that case, these characters are going to have to go through a lot of emotional baggage and have to say sorry a lot and prove each other wrong. Okay, in enemies to lovers, this is something I like to see in enemies to lovers. I like it when the characters prove to each other that they are more than their perceptions, they are more than the enemies, that they can be something more. For example, Tokyo Ever After, an amazing book. Totally recommend it. I'm so excited for the sequel that's coming out like this spring. And so Enemies to Lovers was only like a quarter of the book, but it was still done very nicely. So Izumi finds out that she is a Japanese princess and now goes flying over to visit her father and learn about Japanese traditions and become a princess, basically. And she has this bodyguard who is so annoying. He takes the fun out of everything. He always seems to like turn his nose up at her. Like, and she's like, okay, you're attractive, but I don't like, oh, wrote, like, seriously, we're leaving. He's over here like, do you take anything seriously? I swear. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. But, you know, we both love these characters, don't we? But they end up doing things that show the characters, that show the other person that they're more. For instance, Izumi does something for his family, and that really touches him. I forgot his name. That's why I'm not calling him by his name. I'm sorry. And he does stuff that like proves her wrong, even though she's the one who makes that step first. And they come around to each other, and it's kind of fast but kind of slow, and they become friends. And that's something that is so often looked over in enemies to lovers. Friendship. There needs to be a middle ground, a truce, an allyship. Friends. Friendship is magic. And when they're friends, it's kind of weird. They're like, usually they have to work together for something. Like if this is rivals to lovers, have there be a rival that they have to face together or they end up working together. Like I see this a lot in contemporary romance, and I really want to read those books where it's been described as that because it's always funny. Like Made in Korea and Not Here to Be Liked looks hilarious and amazing. I definitely can't wait to read that in the future. And then there's stuff like, say if they have to kill each other, but then something else happens where they're like, we have to work together for this. Dang it. Or maybe something they both love is in danger. Say it's like these two characters, like they hate each other's guts, but maybe another character, someone they both like, is in trouble. And they're like, okay, we gotta stop this. We need to save this character now. It doesn't mean I have to like you. Or maybe, I don't know, they're just like, you're not so bad. Okay, I could see this. Yeah, we're vibing, we're good, we're gonna be friends. And eventually the lines between enemies and friends sort of blurs until they're like friends, and then of course they get pulled into the lovers. And that's always fun. So when they first start realizing that they like each other, have them fight it. Oh, they hate this. They hate it so much. They're barely like accepting the fact that they're friends, that they have a truce or whatever that is. Like they don't want to feel this way. Like they're used to seeing them as an enemy or someone they're newly like friends with. They're like, why am I feeling this way about it? Why am I feeling this way about you? Stop it, make it stop, get it off me. Like, what is this? And I love it too when other characters see that they're falling in love. The others, they will not admit it. And that kind of happens in real life. Even for things that aren't enemies to lovers. Like when you have a crush, you talk about that crush. Even if you don't mean to. Like, you think you're being subtle, but you're not. You're really not. I mean, you're not. Take it from me, someone who is not subtle. And have them be like, I hate this person so much. Then why are you always talking about that person? Because I hate him so much. So much. Yeah. Wonder when they're gonna get together. You're telling me. That is always so fun. Like, have the side characters be in on it. And that brings me to another point. Sometimes their enemies to lovers is like, they have to go and kill each other. or they're from warring kingdoms. If that happens, that means other characters are going to be involved. And they have to deal with the fact that they're probably going to let down a lot of people or get in trouble or maybe not even be liked in their own family, let alone the other character's family, for that matter. They might feel like traitors. Their heart is really the one that betrayed them. But yeah, they've seen things in this person that they didn't expect to see, and now they're choosing to love this person. Because love is a choice, it's not a feeling, it's an action. Remember that, kiddies. Yeah, it's really quite fun. I love enemies to lovers. I love it when like one of the characters is like trying to prove himself or herself to the other character, and the other character is not dealing with it. Like, they don't like each other, but like they feel like they have to prove something. Like, I don't want you to get better at this than me. Or like, hey, look at what I can do. Hey, I'm cool. I'm hip. Why did you think this is cool? It's totally, I've never had experience writing that before. Totally. So, your characters have come from enemies to friends to finally realizing that they like each other. And okay, a lot of the times when they fall in love with each other, sometimes it's one person will first and then the other one has to fall. Or they fall at the same time and they think the other doesn't like them. And so they're over here like, okay, yeah, we were enemies, but like, I like this person, but I don't tell him because he obviously doesn't like me. And the person's thinking like, I like this person, but like, this is kind of a strained relationship already. Like, I want to tell them because they don't like me. Or it's like, I love this person obviously hates me. Oh, I hate this person. I hate him so much. And then later, like, he's not so bad. I actually kind of like him. This happened in Pride and Prejudice as well. And all that's to say, Enemies to Lovers is fantastic. And I like it when a character, like, so opposites really do attract. Just keep that in mind. In life and in books. A lot of times the characters will dislike each other because they're so different. But then there'll be another character that is just like them. And they will hate each other's guts. Or like, they won't hate each other, it's just meh. Like, there are two types of people you dislike. People who are very different from you and people who are just like you. Because I would not want to marry myself. Let me tell you, I would kill myself. I would hate myself if I got together with someone just like me. Yeah. Opposites really do attract because they are there. They strengthen the character at their weaker points, and it's like yin and yang. Like, they balance each other out. They help each other. They grow stronger with each other. So that's something to keep in mind with enemies and lovers too. And have the characters, for once, be open about their emotions. Like, say they're together. Like, old habits die hard. And it's going to be weird for a while. Maybe it's always going to be weird that they like each other. But in the end, this is what happened. So, yeah. Just imagine them looking back and thinking, when I first saw him, I didn't think that he would be the one for me. Doesn't that happen a lot in real life though too? Not just for enemies and lovers. They would never have guessed that they would be so perfect for each other. Yet they are. Well, that's it, everybody, for my first episode of Bookish Romantic. I really hope that you were able to gain something out of my ramblings. I know this video is kind of messy, but if you would like me to talk about any of the sub-tropes of enemies to lovers, please put it down in the comments below, and I will add that to my list of things I want to talk about on this show. And if you have any, if you need advice on writing a certain romantic point, you can get in contact with me through our website, or you can just put it down in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you on that, because I love helping people and giving them insight on romance, because romance is such a beautiful thing, but it is so often done the wrong way, and I want to change that, because my way's always right. Just kidding. I'm not perfect, believe it or not. But I like to help where I can. And yeah, have an amazing day or night. Write clean, good romance, because we need more of that on the shelves. And don't always judge people. Who knows, they might end up being your one and only. Goodbye, everybody.